brisk Saturday morning, the day before Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And thank you. And because it's Valentine's Day, my wife made cupcakes for us. So trust me, they're fat-free. So whoever wants cupcakes, come down. You can feel free if you want to get them while we're talking. If you want to take one with you, just so you know, she only made 24. So, I've already told my kids they can't come up and get any until everyone gets some. If they come up, they'll just appear just like that. So I like. I love having these events where I get to talk to residents. So as we always say is, we try to let you know what's happening here in the village. Try to keep the village residents informed, and it's a time where you can ask questions. And again, I'm only human; I may not know the answers to all your questions. We try to get those answers. And as you see, if you're on the mayor's Facebook page, if you're on the village website, or even during the village board meetings, usually a lot of times we take questions that come through these meetings and answer those through those events. Okay. So pretty much we're going to open it up to the floor. It's just kind of informal. It's a time where you can ask questions, see what's going on. And I'll tell you what, I've got a bunch of things here that I can talk about, but I'll listen to you all first. Let's see what kind of questions you have. Anyone have any questions? Yes?
I just want to know about the I guess it's a complaint, if you want to call it that. The new street lights we got on?
Yes.
They suck.
How about lights put down there, you don't like them?
Yeah, the old ones were bright. I could see across the street at the other house, the sides of the house. I mean, it went a long way. This, and I have a light in front of my house.
Right.
That's it. Can't see up the driveway. We can't see good across the street. I know we save money by it, but in my opinion, at what risk? Now, it's darker. So how do you go, it's not as safe as it was before. So, you know what I mean? You save the money, but at the cost of not being able to see, which makes it easier for somebody to rob a house or break in or whatever.
It's really sad to hear that because there was a bunch of studies done on these big tree lights that we had put in. And all the studies showed, number one, they were supposed to be brighter. Number two, it was showed that all the studies, we didn't do the studies ourselves, they were independent studies. Independent studies showed that the area that it covered was more broad. But I'm hearing that you're saying it's not. So, yes.
The ones by us on the corner there, on that medium, they are a lot brighter. There could be something wrong with the igniters in her bulbs or whatever on that light. You might want to just check that one light.
Yeah, because I know they got one up by me. It's the old lights used to be like a yellow light, and I know these are more of a white.
I see the one by us is more yellowish.
And you're sure they changed yours already?
Because I saw change mine and I was really bad.
Yeah.
Because it's very dim now. You could actually, all the way down our street, you could stand at one end all the way down and see. Now you cannot. But I keep my house very lit up, but I still, when you look out, it's very, very horrible.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll look into it, and I'll give Kevin the location, maybe go back, and there could be something wrong. I never noticed if they're whiter. I just noticed that now when I look out, it's like a white light coming down instead of a yellow. So let's take a look at it. Now, I have a joke about your area. Is your lights white or are they yellow?
White.
Okay.
The ones they put in.
Yes.
The span that we can see was, I can see across the street so far, I can see so far from my yard, I can see off to the side. Now it's just concentrated, and it's very short. To me, it's dim.
Okay.
You have to adjust your eyes to it, but they're dim.
It's kind of like me, I guess, in my house, we put in all these new energy efficient bulbs.
Can't see.
And when you first walk in the room, you can't see. I guess your lights do. I mean, when you talk about your eyes adjusting, when I noticed that in my house, when I turn a light on, I have to wait for it for a while, the next thing I know, it's like, oh, it's right here. But it's probably not, it's my eyes initially. So we'll look into this, and we'll go back to the company that's providing all these lights. And then see what their complaints.
Several weeks back, I mentioned the water oozing out of the sidewalk on my corner.
Okay.
And Kevin, I know, has noticed about it, but it's still, the water's still coming up now with the ice. That's a bus stop corner. Those kids out there, they like to play on that corner.
All right.
So I'd rather, I don't know if there's something that can't be fixed or, you know, just 220 First and Sherwood. This water still comes in.
Sometimes when it's supposed to be public works, what they do is they get the high priority things, that might be low priority because it's just a little bit of water coming out. But, and again, I'll have to find out, because like, if you all remember, we had the leak on Sauk Trail. That consisted of, we had to bring a company in to put in a shut-off valve over on Jeffrey Avenue, so we could fix the leak over on Sauk Trail. So they should be double check to find out what's going on here.
Bless you. Bless you.
All right, what else we got going on? Well, while you're thinking of stuff, I had my first senior meeting the other day, so I had a good time. Believe it or not, the seniors had a sense of humor. Don't tell some of the young kids that, because the young kids won't believe you, but we had a good time at our senior meeting. We discussed upcoming events, and the seniors have a lot of events going on this year. Again, and just like every committee in our village, things are ran through fundraisers, if you want to call them, like the seniors have their chili cook-off, their spaghetti dinners. They're through donations. They're through getting out there and having events. Okay, that's how Sauk Village committees are ran. Okay, we don't have an influx of money coming in that we can give to committees. It takes work, and for a committee to be successful, they have to have volunteers. And they have to be volunteers that are willing to work. And I tell you right now, every successful committee that Sauk Village has right now is because they have successful committees with volunteers. So, you know, when I look at these seniors, we talked about the events they're having. They've got the paperback drive, which, you know, I knew they had it, but I didn't realize the extent that paperback books are given to the committees. The committee, they have it where seniors can come in and get these books and read them, okay? And after they get to a certain point, when they get to a certain age or they get old, they donate them to the public library. So, I mean, just to kind of give you an idea, paperback drive, we've got the chili cook-off coming up. They have the event on Friday that's open to all seniors. If you know seniors, you want to come out. You know, here's one thing we talked about. One thing we're going to do is, through the county, they have gotten some money to get youth to come in on parts of Sauk Village and other communities, municipalities. We're going to take advantage of one of those youth. And I talked to the committee at our last meeting, and they were in favor of it. It's opening up the senior center every single day. So this makes it where seniors can come, the doors will be open. Right now we're working on making sure we get this individual, what days we get them. Looks like we're getting them 5 days a week. It's either he or her, I'm not sure which. And just making sure the doors are open. If a senior wants to come, they can come, they can enjoy themselves at the senior center, they can do whatever they sit around reading books. You know, a lot of seniors, they sit at home. This gives them a chance to come out and get out. So we're excited about this new program that we're going to be doing. I've got the senior committees in favor of it. I want to make sure that they are in favor of it before we really push it forward. And you know, we're hoping that probably we're in February now, so either the end of February, beginning of March, we should have everything in line, and we'll have the senior center open every day. I'll be able to come back to the village residents right here about it at the village board meeting. We'll give you the dates, times, making sure that we get individual for 5 days a week. Okay, so we're excited about that. They got other events and stuff going on, so keep ear out if you have any residents. I think one thing I was very surprised, we talked about the Bloom Township, they have seniors also, and they've got a Myrtle Beach. That other door's open, you reach the wrong door. There you go, you got it. more chairs too. I was really surprised. The seniors are excited. There's a Myrtle Beach event coming up. They're on Myrtle Beach from September 25th through October 1st. And $625. I guess it's not bad. But they're excited. There's already seniors talking about it. They're going to start saving money for it now. You know, they're looking forward to it. So, and again, a lot of things happening. So that's me talking about the seniors. I think other things going on. Let's see. If you have a question, go back to you. Yes.
What is the age that you know, for the senior group? You know what that is?
Since I'm sharing this, I want to say 55, and don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I thought it was 55, 60 or somewhere in that age. Do you have any seniors here? No? 50? That's not a senior. That means my wife qualifies. Happy Valentine's Day. Holy cow, 50 years old. Yeah, I'll be qualified in a couple of years.
Maybe, yeah.
I hope it's 55. That's too close to me. So, I'll find out. That's a good question. Any other questions for you? All right, how about we talk a little bit about St. James Hospital? Okay. As mayor, I sit on a task force with quite a few other mayors here in the south suburbs. And I'll give you a little update on St. James Hospital. St. James Hospital is looking to close about 3/4, some people say 2/3, I'd say almost 3/4 of the hospital and tear it down. Okay, right there on the corner of around 30 Chicago Road. Gotta be careful because I was at a meeting the other day and I was talking to the heads of the hospital, the CEO, Mr. Kimball, those guys were there. We were talking about around 30 Chicago Road, and I said, Sauk Trail 394. Don't believe me, all the other mayors caught it just like that. But St. James Hospital is around the corner, around 30 Chicago Road. We're looking at tearing down a large portion of it. And by doing that, they're going to remove the emergency room. The new emergency room will be over on Olympia Fields. Okay. As mayors, we're all in favor, and what they're coming across is, aren't you in favor of affordable health care? Okay, and I tell you, I say, yes, I'm in favor of affordable health care, but I'm also in favor of safe health care. When I talk about safe, I'm talking about the safety of our village residents. The additional time it takes to get from further to Olympia Fields, we're talking about our village residents having to go into an ambulance going approximately, they say it's about another 4 miles, but they're talking, could be always almost 10 minutes further for them to go. That could be a matter of life and death. Okay? As mayors, we understand economic development. We understand that there comes a time that you have to make some changes. Okay? But we are asking and letting the hospital know we will be in favor of your expansion that you're going to make in Olympia Fields, as long as there's an emergency room. It can be a standalone emergency room. It can be an area where ambulances that maybe have basic life support. Okay, and again, it's the lowest level. But you have to have an ambulance that can go to the corner around 30 in Chicago. We still want some type of emergency care where residents can access it. What they're talking about is just putting in what they call an urgent care center. Again, and I understand too that the way people's insurance works nowadays, it's different. I understand that our health care system is changing, okay? But we still have, I'm sorry, I thought I turned that down. It turns down, I apologize. I think here it is. All right, sorry about that. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we continue to look out for our residents. We need to make sure we continue to making sure that there's an avenue where our residents can go to. lot of talk, and I'll tell you another reason why we're so concerned, okay? For people that listen, sometimes on your scanners or things, you'll hear that when they're talking about hospitals have to be bypassed, right? You know, they may call and say, I want to go to South Campus, okay, which is over in Dyer. They'll say, we're on bypass. Then they'll say, okay, we're going to head to Munster, okay, if they're heading toward Indiana. And they'll say, Munster's on bypass, they have to go to the next one. Well, we're seeing the same thing here in Illinois. Think about this, last year alone, St. James emergency room saw over 40,000. At that emergency room. The emergency room over Olympia Fields saw approximately somewhere between, 25 and 30,000. I think that's the number. Now they're talking about taking all those emergency room visits and putting them all to Olympia Fields. Okay. As we know, Olympia Fields is very difficult to get to. Right now you have 4-lane roads on the corner of Chicago Road and Route 30. To get to Olympia Fields, you're going down a 2-lane road. It makes it difficult for ambulances to get to. It makes it difficult for residents to get to. So, you know, we're looking at, there's no access for individuals to take any type of public transportation. Where Chicago Heights has a very big, large bus terminal right there next to the hospital. Okay, or just, I guess you say maybe 1 block away, so it's very close. A lot of times at St. James Hospital, a lot of residents, especially Chicago Heights, walk to St. James Hospital. Can you imagine them having to now walk to Olympia Fields? So they're walking down Route 30, and they have to get down, once they get to the turnoff, so it's Olympia Fields, they have to walk down that road where I think part of the way there's not even sidewalks. So it just makes it unsafe. So just want to give you an update on where we stand. We are still in meetings with the mayors are and the task force that I'm on. We're still in meetings with St. James Hospital's staff, or I guess I should say staff, I should say their CEO. Okay. The big push that started the push, and I'm very thankful for it, is Mayor Gonzalez from Chicago Heights. He was the first one to reach out to all communities, wanted to know if we knew anything about it, but we did not. St. James Hospital came to Chicago Heights approximately about a year ago with a whole entire different plan, and then at the very end they changed it, and we didn't even know about the first plan. Okay, so thankful for Mayor Gonzalez getting the word out, and he's the one that's heading up this task force. And so like I said, we've had multiple meetings with the CEO, Mr. Kimball, and we met with his boss last Friday, I think it was. So it was another last Monday. So we had meetings. We've had multiple meetings before they had the public hearing. So I don't know if anyone was able to go on the 9th, I think it was, of February, there was a public hearing over at Bloom High School. And that was with the public Department of Health that had the public hearing. So I give you a little bit of an update what's happening with St. James, kind of a little bit of my role in representing the residents of Sauk Village and serving on the task force representing you. Yes.
I was told that eventually that we will not be able to cross the line from Illinois to Indiana over to the hospital there in Dyer. That's going to be against the law.
I don't think it will be. That's my personal opinion. I do not think.
Well, they said they were in the process of.
I don't ever see it happening. Again, you have to realize, again, it may be your insurance, and when you say that, we have United Healthcare, okay, our family does, before that, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now, is that going to affect someone who's on Medicare? Okay, I don't know that question for you, okay, I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but when we talk to our insurance companies, I have to be honest with you, all of our doctors are in Indiana. Our kids go to St. James still, right? So our kids still go to St. James, but our adult doctors, not our pediatricians, are in Indiana. We've always had, it's funny because we've always gone to Dr. Garrett's. Okay? I was going to Dr. Garrett's when he was over here in the middle of Sauk Village, just down the street on Jeffrey Avenue. Who remembers him having an office there, right? So, over by the baseball field, right down the street from Wagner School. Dr. Garrett's had his office there. Then, go ahead. So, our family has always gone to Dr. Garrett's. Now we're going to Dr. Garrett's son. So Dr. Garrett's is retired. And does that make you feel old or not? I went to him when I was a kid. He's retired and I'm going to his kid. So, but when it comes to the private insurances, I don't think they'll always stop someone going across state lines, but I don't know how it's going to affect, individuals that have Illinois, maybe Medicare. We're continuing to look at that, because that was one of the things that was brought up to the task force. But we could not find that it's anywhere right now, it does not happen. All right? Right.
What's your secondary insurance? That they might have to watch.
So, again, the task force did hear that, and we started looking into it, and not confirm that at all. No, it's nice, it's a little warm for me, I'm not ready to take the sweater off, but, and it's nice, it's cozy, and,
It's cold and free.
Try playing games on Friday.
right, there's all those windows, huh?
All people have.
There's all kinds of straight up.
So,
Anything on the restaurant?
New restaurant, let's see here. New restaurant should be opening soon. Okay, there's a few things that they still have to do. We're waiting for them to get their health department certificate approved. They have to get the fire department to come off and give us a final sign off. And then they'll come in with all the rest of the paperwork and present it, and then wish a business license once everything's okay. So I know they've done a lot of work. I've been in there a couple times. A lot of painting, fixing the floors, just kind of like major repair and cosmetics.
And they will be open for 3 meals, the sign says.
That's right,
So
breakfast,
that's-
lunch, and dinner. So, when I talked to them last time, that's still putting it up in the air. They didn't know if they're going to do all three or if they're going to just do lunch and breakfast. And I think they, of course, when you see by their sign, they decided to go with dinner. I met the new owner, or the new one who's running who will run the restaurant. And he's coming out of retirement. So he used to have restaurants. I'm thinking, of course, I worked in the northwest suburbs. I'm thinking of the northwest suburbs. He used to have restaurants. He's went into retirement, and then he's coming out of retirement to open another restaurant again. So it should be interesting. I talked to them, they were looking to try to keep something close to Sauk Village. That's why they named it Sauk Village Cafe. When they open it, or if you get in there, they may ask you, they're looking for some old pictures. So they would have the old pictures. They want to, try to keep it. They didn't know if they wanted to go with a Native American look, and I don't know exactly which one they went with. But they wanted to go with a bunch of pictures of old Sauk Village. So last time I talked to them, that's what they're looking at. They have things up in the air. Do we do the Indian, or do we do the Sauk Village? Sauk Village. It'd be interesting when they open. Yes,
The library has some historical pictures, maybe they can contact them.
there you go. I'll let them
That
know.
would be a good idea.
And do it fast. Something going to do it fast.
Yes, there is. There is a beauty supply store going in to do a best. The signs went up yesterday. And I'm trying to think. They were in there, the code enforcement was in there yesterday, day before yesterday. They're still removing a lot of the racking and shelving from when the best was there. They're trying to set it up for their new beauty supply store. So it should be interesting.
What about the hardware store? Is there something going in there?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the beauty supply store.
Oh, is that the beauty supply?
Yeah, I think it's called Pink, if I remember right.
Oh,
Pink, is that beauty supply? I remember, whenever I say something, you're going to quote me on that.
Subject
Because,
to change.
hey, you remember, I've had 10 kids, so my memory goes very fast, so. But, again, we're excited about seeing businesses start to open back up in Sauk Village. And, you don't have to go very far to see that businesses closing has hit every single suburb. I work up in the northwest suburbs, and there is closed businesses everywhere. Up there, it's just amazing. The amount of businesses that have closed.
you go over to yeah, Ayucio's, the pizza place, they're closed.
Are they really?
Yeah, they closed up. You
Which
go-
one is that?
The one on the corner there.
They're hard
I used to, the one that used to be in the village.
Yeah. They closed up, because we used to go over there all the time.
Now you have to go to Villa de Pizza.
Huh?
Now you need to go to Villa de Pizza.
I don't know.
It's the same, it's a partnership. They had split and one was in there, one here.
Right.
So it's the same recipe, and they are good. Because the Sunday group orders from there when they have their pizza party.
Oh, maybe we'll try.
Well, try it out. Get some
Yeah.
support to local businesses, and, you know, that's our plug. We give quite a few plugs. New restaurant, beauty supply, Villa de Pizza. I see Dunkin' Donuts is sitting here, so we got some local businesses. Let's give them those plugs, right?
This is,
Yeah, hey, don't forget, for the people that came in, we got cupcakes. If you can come up here and walk up here and get some anytime, or you can grab some on your way out. Brenda made cupcakes for everyone for Valentine's Day. All right, yes.
is there anything, I know it's under litigation most likely, but is there anything you can clear up on that case with the treasurer? At all?
The village treasurer. First of all, I want to say that the allegations and stuff against the village treasurer is a shock to me. I've known Jim for quite a few years, personally. I was a trustee when he served under former mayor Roger Peck. One reason that as mayor that I asked him, and I did, I asked him to come back and serve as treasurer because of everything he did under Roger Peck, and I knew that he had someone come in, hit the ground running. We had multiple treasurers in there from the previous administration, and trying to figure out what was happening. I can't tell you what happened, why it happened. I can tell you that it's under investigation, and there's been questions on why am I not removing him. I think you have to look strongly at state statute when it talks about the appointment and removal of the village treasurer. Okay? We are watching it. You know, I went to the attorneys. I have not been able to talk to the village treasurer because the village treasurer now has an attorney. So I've asked our attorneys to reach out to his attorney. So I mean, anything short of him resigning or from the position. State statute says to remove him, he has to be convicted of a crime. He has not been convicted of a crime. So I can't tell you why people do things they do. Just know that still like Jim as a man, as a village resident, and just hope they get everything worked out, and we can move forward past this point, and then he either resigns or steps down, I think it's the same. So we get another village treasurer in there, but as of right now, village treasurer remains unpaid. He has had all his, the village, I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. Village treasurer still is under the payroll of the village, okay? But we removed everything that he does. He has no rights, or he has no access to any village accounts. He has no access to the village hall. Of course, his office has been locked down by the FBI. The FBI is doing their investigation. The FBI has been in, I think, a couple of times. I can probably tell you that. Pulling records and stuff out of that office. So, yes.
His pay isn't that big, is it?
No. I'm trying to think.
6,000 to 7,000 a year or something.
Something like that.
That's what I thought. You know, some people might think he might be making 70,000 a year, whatever it is, you know.
No.
It isn't like it's killer, it's not great.
Yeah, if you figure if he's making $6,000 a year, he's making $500 a month.
Yeah. Still not good.
No, and that's before taxes.
Right.
So the reason he's getting paid those is because he's not been convicted.
As of right now, he has not been convicted.
So that's why he's getting paid.
Correct. And we have to follow state statute. So he is an officer. It's almost like, and I told someone at the village board meeting the other night, who's heard about what's happening over in East Chicago?
Yeah.
They have, I can't remember if they have aldermen or trustees in East Chicago, right? He's sitting in jail.
Right.
He was elected sitting in jail. They finally had to go to jail to swear him in office because they cannot remove him. So, you know, this is a guy who was, would they say he killed someone? And the whole entire story in front of me, but it just kind of tells you, you know, people can be in jail and still be sworn in office if the people elect them. So I know last I heard, East Chicago was supposed to be meeting to find out what they could do to try to remove him. But the thing is, it's very tricky because, you know, when it comes to trustees and aldermen, it's a little bit more, it's even more challenging.
Look at the governor, we'll go ahead, bitch.
Oh,
Then pay him,
yeah. So, multiple governors.
and they keep paying him.
Hey, Illinois is the only place where your governors make your license plates, right? Pretty soon, we'll say it's the only place where your elected officials, we'll have to change that just from governors to your elected officials, because I tell you, there's been a lot of issues in the news, if you've watched and saw, where there's been elected officials in the news for wrongdoing, things like that. Alrighty. Yes?
You know, I normally don't go on Facebook, but I did, and I was trying to check things. You know, out west where they had that barricade, the FBI surrounded that area,
Okay.
and they got the last of them out, and it behooves anyone to listen to that, because the FBI that was in charge spoke about how things went. Then the judge, I guess, spoke, and also the sheriff, and he is one to listen to. He talks about diversity, he talks about the problems. He said, get off Facebook, get together, sit down and talk. That's the same thing we're having here. That's all we do is we hear bickering here, not following the rules, and I thought, you know, when they bring up a subject, it should be no more than 3 times over and over and over, and we've extended the meeting over an hour for this nonsense. And I just wish people would listen to that one. That is really something to listen to.
Well, you know, we've heard what the village residents said about the board meetings, about things going over and over, and about the fact that they only get 3 minutes to speak, and trustees get there and they can talk about as long as they want. I don't know how many people noticed that last week we passed a new ordinance based off of, number one, what we've learned over time now, and number two, based off what the residents have been saying, where now during a regular board meeting, when it comes time to vote, especially when it comes to motions, that trustees are now time limited. That just passed this last week. So, you know, I've already started looking into maybe getting a timer that we can put on a wall, a digital timer. And it can be used for both the residents when they talk, and we can also use it for the trustees. So, I mean, you think about when we get to a village board meeting and a regular board meeting, we're voting, the trustees should be well informed with what's already going on. It's their responsibility, okay? It's their responsibility. I was a trustee for 14 years, and believe me, if I had a question before a village board meeting, I was asking those questions. That way, when I came, I was well informed. I wasn't learning and asking questions at the village board meeting. The only time I did that was if I did not agree, okay? So when we get to a village board meeting, trustees are responsible for knowing what they're voting on. It's their responsibility to, you know, I have already researched the answers. Okay? So when we get to a village board meeting, when it comes time for a vote, you know, there is a time for trustees to make comments, right? And if they have any final questions, ask those questions. Now they have the time there. And what it does, it allows them to get on the record. Okay? You know, it even allows the trustees to find things that have been voted on, right, that I did not agree with. So I would go off when it came time for a vote. There would be a motion, there would be a second, there would be questions or comments from the trustees. I would raise my hand and I would say, Mr. Mayor, I just want for the record that I oppose this ordinance or I oppose this action because of the following. That's what you do. Okay? We've already had our discussion at committee meetings. Okay? We've already had our brainstorming sessions. We've already gone back and forth. Okay? When you get to that second and fourth Tuesday night, you know how you're going to vote. Okay? It's either get up there and vote, make your comments known when you have your chance after there's a motion and second on the floor, and move business along. Okay? It's not a time for us to grandstand. It's not a time, you know, we should already had our bickering and stuff done at the committee meeting. That's what those are for. Okay? That's where you go off and you plead your case, right? We're all very emotionally attached to what we want passed. Okay? By the time you get to that second and fourth Tuesday, vote, get it over. How it stands. If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I never get upset if something doesn't pass. I'm just happy that it got it for a vote, and it either passes or it doesn't pass. Yes.
When you were at IML, there was the video that you showed back on. I think that would be a good thing to show again, because that way all the people that went to IML that didn't go to that particular thing, let them watch this over again and know how they're supposed to behave. They don't have to come and stand up there and just talk over and over and over and over, over and over and over and over. Get it done.
Rich. You know, one thing we learned at IML, and I did show that on that presentation we did for the questions and comments. Talking about questions and comments, right? You know, state statute says that at a village board meeting, you're supposed to have an area time or a time where residents can ask questions and make comments, right? Nowhere does it say that the village board, the mayor, anyone has to answer those questions. I attend multiple meetings with mayors. You know, as a mayor, there's lots of opportunities for you to get training. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people will say this out in public, okay, especially mayors. But the attorneys that train the mayors make it very clear that, you know what, you give the residents the opportunity to speak. You give the residents the opportunity to ask their questions, but you don't answer them. Okay? There is a reason for that, right? We live in a day and age where people are constantly suing, right? Okay? They want to take every single word you say, and then they turn around and they want to fool you to get the answer. That's why I will say, whatever I say here is, don't quote me on it, okay? Because what they want to do is they want to nitpick everything that you say. Then they turn around and want to sue. And they point back and say, this mayor, or this trustee, or this alderman, they answered these questions. Here's what they said at a board meeting. Okay? The recommendation we're getting from the attorneys that train mayors in the classes that we go to, that you give the residents the opportunity to speak, and the answer should be, thank you for your comments. We'll look into your questions. You may even turn around and say, Chief, please, I would like for you to get back with me on this one. Or Chief, if you get a chance, please meet with the resident afterwards. You know, all the advice that we're receiving is you don't answer questions, especially in a heat of conversation, especially if you don't answer. Especially if you don't know the answers. You know, so a lot of times people ask you questions, and I'll tell you what, you got to think about it. When you're sitting in the hot seat up there, someone asks you a question, you might think of something that you may not have an answer. So, again, and that's by state statute. State statute says you do not have to answer this question. All you have to do, all you're required to do is make a spot for residents there to ask questions and give comments. That's all you have to do. So, yes?
I want to make a comment based on what you say that as a trustee, they should get their packet. It seems to me that lately all I've been seeing is they evidently do not even look at their packet, because if they did, they're missing something based on what's on the agenda. They're not looking at it. It seems that they come to the board meeting wanting to be tutored on what they should have known from based on the previous committee meeting. And I'm sure that they had ample time to ask questions on financial questions, instead of sitting there page after page asking the same thing that they could have asked the finance director. They're really wasting time.
Well, when you get into stuff like that, you know, again, and sometimes it's, you know, first of all, we have to have packets out 48 hours in advance. Okay, so you know, a lot of times as a mayor trying to get an agenda together, the mayor's responsibility to put the agenda together. There's a lot of times we're waiting on final confirmation on stuff. So a lot of times we will wait until Sunday afternoon to put a packet out. Okay. I know the village clerk has asked if I could try to get things out sooner, so what we're end up doing is, you know, unless something is urgent that we know we have to vote on, we haven't got confirmation, we'll hold off. But we're going to start trying to make sure packets get out by Friday. I know that the agenda for next Tuesday night is already posted, so when you leave, made sure that it was posted like even this morning, it was posted yesterday. Trying to make sure the trustees receive their information. So now, when you come Tuesday night, the trustees should have had their packets. They were there Friday. I'll double check with the village clerk, make sure they were there. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and only Tuesday. For the meetings. Almost 5 days. So that's what we're going to continue to try to push for. Again, like I said, if something is waiting on confirmation, if someone's going to presentate or give a presentation, if we've got a special ordinance that we're still waiting on some additional information, it may have to wait until Saturday or Sunday until we get that final email, or we get that final call saying that, yes, we've got some important things on the agenda. There's some talk about public comment, there's some talk about another Class 8. We've got Ward College Drive, where P.L.A.N is. They've asked for a renewal for the Class 8. And this is a tax incentive that we want to give to our businesses because we want to keep them here in Sauk Village. Not only just in Sauk Village, we want to keep them in Illinois, we want to keep them in Cook County. Okay? It's very difficult nowadays to try to keep businesses, especially large businesses. You think about Bear Paint. You go to, where is it, Sears or all these places, it's paint by Bear, right? We're here in Sauk Village. So it's important that we discuss this Class 8. It's important that we get it passed so that we don't lose these. Both these, there's 2 companies in there, Bear Paint. I was going to plan with the second one. No, it's, I don't want to say lose the kids or something. I can't remember. But there's two, both of these companies that are sitting in that area is up for renewal for their lease. And right now, that Class 8 will depend on if they stay or leave. So that shows you how important a Class 8 incentive is for these businesses. So, yes?
Do the voting trustees know that it's that important, that they'll stay or leave, depending on that vote?
They will. We've got, the company is being leased by, or the property is being leased by a company called N-Corp. N-Corp's been around for a long time. Their previous company had it, they were bought out by N-Corp. Their city representatives in to be here Tuesday night to share with the trustees. Yes?
I don't know if the trustees also know that Bear Paint, donated the paint to the community center and the gym. So without them, they quite a few gallons, I don't know, 30 gallons or whatever, 40 gallons of paint to do the community center both sides.
Bear Paint has done a lot for Sauk Village. They did the community center, they donated a bunch of paint to the fire department.
And to the residents, because I got paint from them.
To the residents, they donated paint. So, again, they've been real assets to our community. They hire Sauk Village residents, probably not 100%, but there is some Sauk Village residents that live there.
I heard, I didn't read it, but I heard that there was comment that it's not a new stove and microwave in there, and the place is kind of trash. And first of all, John was still trustee, that's when we, the fundraisers. So, yes, you have to do a fundraiser. And with that, we bought a new stove, which we went to this time. And we got a good deal. My neighbor gave us, managed just to leave that cheaper. We got the brand new microwave. That's the same thing. So those 2 things, plus the paint, all done under trustee council. So for them to say now that there was no new stove, or no new microwave, or that the place is a mess, that was not done, that's false. Because it wasn't a new stove, it wasn't a new microwave, all brand new painted. So if it's a mess now, that's not due to the last trustee, it's due to this present trustee not watching what the people are doing at the community center.
But, again, I remember because high school girl, time trustee Possum used to ask me to come over and take a look. I do know that the previous committee did a lot of work. They made sure that even after walls were painted and stuff, cleaning, making sure that the floors were good. There was a lot of work that the previous committee did. I was over there seen this post on Facebook, but I was shocked and appalled by the way the committee center looks. I've already contacted JW to see what we're going to have to do, because inside the community center, the walls are nicely painted and clean. The place is a mess. I feel bad for the previous committee who spent all the time fixing it up. I went into the room where the bleachers were, or the bleachers are, after you guys went through and redid all the floors and everything. The tile now in those floors is all broken. It's popped up. Just one thing after another, that as I walked through there, I'm kind of shocked that I didn't know about it, but at the same time, I'm very irritated. Okay, because it is the committee's responsibility to upkeep and keep it up. Okay, so we're looking into what we can do to, I guess you want to say, do the committee's job. So that's what we're looking into now.
Bring over the lockers that we got donated from Stratton Ventures?
I got it. That was a question that Robin asked. Thank you. So I got them checking in to find out where they're at.
Yeah,
Because Robin said she needed them.
Kevin had gone to Strax Sheriff because they donated their lockers. They're not new,
Right.
but they're lockers that when they remodeled, they agreed to donate them. So I don't even know if they're got them to come over to the workforce department, because I know Robin kept asking me about it.
And you know, those are great things. We talk about not having anything for our kids to do, right? You know, I would say we got these donated lockers, and they're not new, but you know, what's to say that we can't reach back out to Bear Paint and say, hey, you got a little bit of paint we can borrow, or a little bit of paint you want to donate. We get the kids, give them some sandpaper, and have them stand down these things and have them paint. You know, again, you're working with the kids, you're doing something with the kids, you're getting them off the streets. And when they get done, they've got something that can show that, hey, you know what, I painted that locker. You know, it just gives a little bit of pride back into the community center where they get going.
So the aggravating thing is when last time when John was in charge, you know, at the meetings, same people kept coming up complaining about this. Nothing for the kids to do, you know, constantly. And I know for a fact, we've reached out to Linwood, to the, because I was the village clerk up there, and John and I met with them, and they were having the same problem. There wasn't enough things for the kids to do. That was one of their problems, she said. We tried with the two basketball, you know, joining the two towns to do a basketball. It didn't work. It didn't come through. Those same people that were up at that podium every week, or whenever they talk, complaining about nothing for the kids to do. Now that the election is over and these other people are in, I don't see that people coming up there anymore complaining that there's nothing for the kids to do. Well, what's the difference? Before, because it wasn't somebody they wanted in there, so they complained. Now they got somebody in there, and they're not complaining. It makes no sense.
Well, I can tell you that, you know, if you went over 300 days, there's something to be done for the kids. I can tell you that it's not going to happen too much longer. Right? As mayor, I asked the trustees to remove the chair. The trustees chose not to. So, with that said, you know, that 3 weeks ago, I think it was, the chair said that everything's on hold for the youth until I remove the vice chair. I can tell you right now, I'm not removing the vice chair. Trustees had the opportunity to move the chair, knowing that he's not going to do anything for the kids, and knowing that he's not going to be on hold. I can tell you that I've already started working on stuff, that if he's not going to do anything, and let me tell you something, let me step back for a minute. Everyone knows that we change the way committees work, right? For anything to get done, the chair and the co-chair have to have a meeting first, and they have to agree. The subcommittees are advisory committees. They're not voting committees. Take a look at the ordinance we passed. Okay? For trustees, for chairs to get paid, they have to have a meeting with their co-chair, the two of them, to get paid for standing committees. Right? You can't go off and say, I'm a chair of a committee, and I'm gonna have a subcommittee and get paid for it for your committee meeting. You can't. All right? I've already received complaints that it's happening. We're looking into it. All right? Because if it is happening, number one, they have to sign paperwork. Okay? So that's falsification of documents. Number two is theft. Okay? We're looking into it. I've received complaints. If it's true, we'll call them out on it. We'll give them a certain amount of time to return all the money. And then we would definitely turn it over to the state attorney's office. Okay? Okay. It's part of the ordinance. If you're going to do something, know your ordinance. The ordinance says you get paid for standing committees. Your standing committee is between you and you and another trustee, the chair and co-chair. Subcommittees are totally different. Okay? So, going back to trustees should know what they pass. All right? So, you know, when we go back and I say it's not going to happen too much longer, it's not going to happen too much longer. Because as mayor, I'm going to start doing stuff for the kids. All right? I'm going to come out to you. I'm going to come out to residents and say, you know what, I need volunteers. I've got a group that cannot work. They're not doing anything with the kids. I'm going to look to you to come and help me do stuff for the kids. Okay? Instead, give them over 300 days. Okay? Time to go. When I come out strong, I will come out hard. I will already have things ready to go, which I've already started working on, and plans made. Right? So when I say time limited, time is very limited. Right?
I wonder where, you know, it was, the big thing was that, I got kind of thing, he said that nobody from previous Parks and Recs wanted to help him. That's a lie.
And I was told that I was not helping Parks and Recs. I can't tell you how many meetings I had with the chair of Parks and Recs when he was first elected, trying to work things out, making sure that there was meetings with former committee members, telling him if he needed help, I would make sure that I would ask former committee members. I was told that he had his own members. He did not want any former committee members. He thanked me for my help, but he said he didn't need it, he was okay on his own. Okay? We talked about if he needed any help on getting any programs that were currently going, that we would help him. He refused to take my help. There's been problems with village residents and the chair. I have tried to mediate those issues, bringing those village residents and that chair together. So, you know, if anyone says that I as mayor have not been very helpful, I have been very helpful. I've tried to reach out. You can only do so much. You know, the old saying is you can get a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Right? So.
Yeah, because that's what we were told, that he had his own new wave of volunteers. So then, there were, when they did the Santa, parade and stuff, 3 of us were up there helping him serve the hot dogs and stuff like that. So, and we are not part of this new wave of volunteers.
Oh, it was brought to my attention during the Santa parade that the hot dogs and stuff for the kids for the middle break was not even planned. And it wasn't until a lot of you residents that were sitting in here came and told the chair, you'd be willing to do that. That's one reason it happened.
Well, I approached it, because beautification would, it was just, I don't know how it ever got started, that we would serve lunch at the fire station. And I approached him and said, well, if you need our help, which he took our help. You know, so it could have changed at any time, could have gotten his own or whatever, but as beautification, like I said, I don't know how it got started. He said, hey, we'll help you just serve lunch at the break. So he did accept that.
And on that note, he did, I mean, he supplied everything that,
Right.
he thought of every little thing.
Right.
To-
Parks and Rec was supplied on
He did make sure he had, you know, he didn't forget ice, this and that, the little stuff that you know, easily could have put out, he remembered it all, so I mean, he did do that. I'll give him credit for that.
I'll tell you one thing it did too, was I worked with former trustee John Poskin. He put together all the events and stuff he used to have. together a whole entire packet for the trustee when he first elected, and I made sure he got that whole entire packet from former trustee John Costello. So, believe me, that takes a lot. I figure someone you could then beat you and elected in an election could have easily said, forget him. He didn't have to develop it all himself. Trustee Poskin freely gave up everything and gave it to him.
When the trustee was first voted in, I started working with him with basketball. And for a long time, he came over to my house, it was in my home. I started with the basketball program, he eliminated it. He said he doesn't want it. He says that nobody out here wants to play basketball. He says, I had a survey, and the survey stated nothing, nobody wanted to have basketball. I asked him, I said, do you have any right? He says, no. I said, then how can you take that word? That you don't have any proof for it. I showed him proof of what I was doing, and he still eliminated the basketball program. And at this time, since that time, there's no basketball.
And I know we talked, and I have to be honest with you, over the last year, I've been very supportive of the chairs of all the committees, and even the committees that were having problems. However, you can only do that for so long. And when the residents keep coming to you and saying, there's got to be a change here, something's not working, okay? You have to listen. Again, I gave a new trustee almost a year with as much help as I could give, as much help as we would accept. Even bringing old people from previous committees help. Okay, so that's why I said it's time's almost up. It's a couple minutes before midnight, in my opinion. Yes.
I've been hearing a lot from previously, they were all saying they were for the kids. They want things for the kids, but yet you can see that they've been doing some political work, like they squashed the student government day with the mouthing that went on in the board. And when they shout and scream as elected official, blaming the mayor because he's supposed to lead, the trustees are also supposed to lead. Not lead your political supporters to be hooting and hollering. And that's exactly what goes on. They get up there and they have their supporters over there interrupting. They interrupt when somebody else is speaking. There's lack of decorum up there, causing the audience to chime in with them, their supporters, causing chaos of the meeting. And it's so disgusting to sit there. I've been in more meetings, and this is the first time they've happened. Even at Lewis Towers, they didn't do that.
So, we bring up order and decorum. We're going to do our best, especially as mayor, to continue to keep order and decorum. But it takes it from the top. And when I say top, it's the mayor. Its responsibility is also trustees' responsibility. It's also the trustees' responsibility to keep order and decorum. So, in order for the residents to see and keep order and decorum, it's the responsibility for everyone. We talked about Student Government Day. I've already met with Coach Clerk. I've already met with Trustee. I talked to Trustee Williams. She's passing right now. But if the schools do not want to be involved in Student Government Day, that's their choice. And I'm not going to go beg schools to be involved in Student Government Day. I don't need, and they don't need the school's permission to have a Student Government Day. Okay? We still do the advertisements. We still get students to write essays. We still allow the opportunity for the event to happen. And we just have to change the way they do things. If they're not going to let the kids out of school, we'll have to do things at night. Okay? We may have to do things on the weekends with the kids when they take them out. We have pizza parties or whatever they have. It may have to happen on the weekends. But nothing says that the schools control what those kids do after hours. Right? And you talk about how the mayor was blamed. I didn't even say anything. All right? And the comments that were made during the miscellaneous portion of the Board of Trustees, time where the trustees get to talk. Okay? So, you know, if you have a problem with the trustees, say go talk to the trustees. Okay? It was not part of the agenda. It was not part of the part of the meeting where we discussed what was happening at the schools. Because we would never do that. The only time we're going to talk about the schools is if we have something that we want to do jointly, right? We're going to say we're doing this with the schools. So, Student Government Day, I've already told the village clerk and I've already told the village trustee, move forward. If the schools do not want to be involved, that's fine. Okay? If they want to be involved, that's up to them. Okay? But we need to move forward. This is something that's happened for how many years? What, 30-some years?
40 years.
40 years.
Almost 40 years. Yeah, I think last year was 40 or something, right? So we're not going to let something like that stop us. This was never a school event. This was a church. This was a village. This was a village event. So we'll continue to push it, and I'm going to continue to push the trustee. I'll continue to push those trustees forward. All right. What else we got?
You know, Carol's talking about fundraiser for Parks and Rec. I don't know how many years ago, back in Mayor Peckham's time, when the village did not have money in their budget, so the senior was never given anything for budget, and we were told, have fundraisers. That is what we've been doing to keep our program going. We've had to pay for the change of lock. We pay for a cartridge for Gary Holcomb so he can print our paper rather than have an extensive amount printed here at the village hall. We've ordered tables, we've ordered a cart, we've done a lot of things. Some maintenance work we've been waiting for a long time for Public Works, but they spent so much time over the community center because since the seniors left the community center in good shape, I believe they at least painted it and rehab it over 3 times. And they're continuously going over there doing repairs. And we're still waiting for minor things over at the senior center. But, and as far as volunteers are concerned, even as chair, some of our committee members, we approach individuals one-on-one to secure volunteers. You cannot sit there and say, we need volunteers. They're not going to come running to you. Some people would like to be approached on a one-to-one basis. And not only that, we don't ask one particular group. We are very diverse. We ask everyone. The senior center is open for all groups. And we are a diverse community. And we have a diverse group. And all our events are open. We don't forbid anybody to come in. And we try to encourage them. We do our own flyers and all that. But we have volunteers only because we as committee members approach people and secure them.
And just make sure we're clear that, you know, the village does have facilities that can be rented. And it requires, you know, especially when you look at the community center, that's by a village policy, not a community center policy. The renting of the community center. Any organizations that use it have to rent it. Okay? That was passed back in, I think, 2008. So they have to come in, they have to put their deposit down, they've got to get on the calendar. So, and again, we talk about village policy, but the seniors also have the opportunity where anyone can rent the senior center, right? For seniors. Okay, it's something that has been that way for years. Okay, even before my time, the senior center was always rented for seniors. Okay, so, you know, you think about, there's areas that can be rented. You've got your community center can be rented. You've got your senior center can be rented. Those are pretty much, I think, a couple areas that we have that we rent out. We're meeting here in the lobby today, right? There's been a lot of discussion about the use of the rotunda. Okay. Now, I agree, the rotunda should be for village meetings. Rotunda should be maybe for special meetings. It should not be used for anything political. It should not be used for anyone to push their own self. So, you know, again, I agree with what was right for the village board. I mean, I could easily go in there and stand out there in front of you like we used to have, and have our meetings in there. I can easily, because no one's gonna stop me. But having that way of thought is wrong. Just say, I'm gonna do it just because I want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Well, you know what? You answer the residents. Residents have said, that should be a special one. You know, leave that special for village board meetings, and maybe a special event. Not to push your political agenda. Not to come in and have a political party. So, that's why we're here, we're talking, right? We open it up. You know, residents can ask questions, each can say, sure. Residents can ask questions, you know, we can have a little bit of freedom, it's kind of laid back. You know, that's what it's about, okay? You know, we call these meet the mayors. You know, it's times where you residents can come up and meet me, ask questions, we can talk about topics, we can talk about whatever you want to do. Okay? So, you know, think about how much I would get attacked if I had someone sitting by that back door collecting all your information you want here. Or if I had someone walking around for my political party, even one of my kids walking around, saw someone new walk in and said, hey, what's your name, what's your address? Hey, do you have an email address I can reach out? You know, and gathering all this information so I can put it in my political portfolio. Okay, it's wrong. Not supposed to happen here. I have never asked for anyone's information. You know, I know a lot of you. I can call you my name. But I would never, ever think about trying to gather all your information when it comes to your address, even your phone number, or even your email address, so that I can send out my political stuff because you're coming to meet me as a mayor. That is low, dirty. So I have to go any further. So we'll continue to have our meet the mayors out there. I got no problem. Okay, I think it gives us a little bit closer together. I would like seeing people come out, but I want them to know what's going on. And we always put these posters out in case anyone new comes. They come and see what's happening with our water. They see what's happening with stuff that we're still working on through ID&R to get this for Parks and Recs. Okay? No one on Parks and Recs is working with the office. No one. But I continue being an advocate for the residents of Sauk Village to try to get this to happen. Okay? We still got the rain barrel project that's going on. You know, Sauk Village, if you go to Cook County's website, Sauk Village has got a link that you can click on their website to talk about rain barrels. This is stuff that we're doing for the residents. So, again, we talked about a lot here, but the important thing is remember about the residents. Yeah? I've heard this, you know, how many times you've heard this saying, you know, I'll think about it here in a minute. I'm not going to agree with everyone sitting here, right? And probably everyone in here is not going to agree with me, right? But at the same time, I can look at it and say, you know what? You know, if you have a problem with me meeting in there, I've got no problem coming out here. I've talked to other mayors in other communities. They do the same thing. They hate their lobby. Okay? I've talked to other mayors say there's no way that what's happening in Sauk Village would happen in their community. You know, they see what's happening. They said there's no way it would happen. You know? So, again, I can go in there and say, what's the board going to do to me? You know? What does that tell you, the residents?
You're a lawbreaker.
And I don't care if I don't care what the board thinks, it means I don't care what you think.
That's right.
The voting residents. Yeah, I got Mr. Harvey first.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I do have another meeting to go to. I think this has been an experience for me. I disagree with some of this stuff, but a lot of it made a lot of sense. I will be coming back again.
Good. All right, thank you very much. Good having you, Mr. Harvey. So, Dave, Jeff,
How many cops do we have on the street every shift?
I'd have to get the chief to answer that question for you.
Okay. I'm just curious. I don't know if Homeland Security would, if they give, I don't know if there's a, someone you're supposed to have, or
we're over what they say we're supposed to spend.
So we're not gonna get no help from the government, the Homeland Security.
No. Based
I
on.
know they got tanks and stuff, but I don't.
They do have extra surplus.
Right.
It costs the village money. I mean, again, it's a lower price, but
Right.
it still would cost the village to get that stuff, so.
I just-
Sure.
I see a lot of people, and I hear a lot of people talking about the taxes in Sauk Village. And I really don't think people understand their tax bill. If you look at your tax bill and see that the major portion of it goes to schools, and if you take the part that just goes to the municipality and divide that by 365 days, and then divide it by police, fire, public works, and the hall, and really look at what you're paying, I actually was embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to call the police station for what portion would be going under that circumstance to them.
You bring a good point, because it's one thing to talk about when you look at your tax bill.
It's a bit.
I don't know how many people have ever seen a tax bill. Have you ever seen the percentage breakdown on your tax bill when you get it?
75% schools,
There you go. And
always has been.
And then when you look, it's not just schools, is it? You've got schools, colleges, universities, I mean, there are a lot to be grouped in there together. Public libraries, sewer systems, and then you get to your community, the village of Sauk Village. And we've always said, the village of Sauk Village, when it comes to tax revenue and stuff, we get a small piece of the pie, right? We used to have a chart, a pie chart, right? That would show us all nice and colorful, and show, here is your part, here's your slice of the pie that goes to your schools, and here's your slice of the pie that goes to your libraries, and here's your slice of the pie that goes to all these other 15 or 20, whatever they are, boom, 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 and then here's your little big slice that goes to your community, right? When we levy taxes, as elected officials, we never want to, but at the same time, remember, we have currently right now 1, 2, 3, I think we're at 3 unions, 4 unions. 4 unions we have to negotiate with. Okay? What was it? I think it was last year's budget, over $3 million for the police department alone. Okay? It's one of our unions, FOP. Then we got our sergeants union. Then we have our public works. We have our public works union. And then we have the front office union. Okay? When you're dealing with unions, you're talking about negotiating pay raises. They get their raises every year. So you think about the cost of electricity going up every year. You think about the cost of gas going up every year. Not to mention gas for our vehicles. We have to have gas for our fire trucks, our police cars, our public works vehicles, our code enforcement vehicles. Okay? That gas price goes up every year. You might see, a drop in the pumps here and there, but the gas is still high. Okay? Everything that the village has to buy, when it comes to needed supplies, right? You go to the store. Has anyone seen supplies go down in cost? We have to have papers, we have paper, we have to have pen, we have to have notebooks, we have to have, a toner for our copy machines. We have to have copy machines. We could go on and on. We have to have tickets that have to be printed, so tickets can be issued. We have to have forms printed. All that stuff starts to add up, and that's all part of a small portion of running a community. So when we pass tax levies, we look at, is it difficult? Yes. One thing we did pass this year, and I think there was some kind of confusion on that also, was we applied, okay, and listen to this word, applied for a loss of a levy, okay? We went back going all the way back to, I think, the last 10, 12 years, and found out that Sauk Village only gets approximately 90% of our tax levy every single year. So whatever we put a tax levy for, we're only receiving about 90%. Now, I thought 90% was pretty good, so I just got that meeting with David Gonzalez, and found out Chicago Heights is only getting approximately 80 to 85% of their tax levy. They're a city. So what we've done is we went in and asked for a loss of revenue. We applied for it. Okay, and what that would do is if we get it, there's a big if every single time, it will bring us up hopefully to that 100% mark, or just under. Okay, there's some kind of misconfusion there, where people thought that we were asking for a tax levy and a tax levy on top of the tax levy. Okay, so we just want to make sure we're very clear on that, but we're not. Okay, we're asking for that money that we already projected we're going to lose because based off of past revenue.
I was going to ask, who negotiates the contracts? I've heard it's not us, it's the lawyers.
The lawyers are involved, of course they have their lawyers. But right now, we've got, now that we have a village administrator, we've got J.W. Fairman.
Because I got to say, everybody else is taking cut. I don't want to see nobody starve or go hungry, but somebody's, I don't think anybody's hurting working for the village here. That's just my opinion. And I think sometimes you got to, somebody's got to step down a little bit or cut down the raises, Nobody else is getting it. The economy's not, working. That's just, I was just curious.
Let's go back a little bit. Before we had a village manager, right, which was Dick Teacher. Dick Teacher used to work with the attorneys and used to negotiate with the unions. Okay. When I became acting mayor, there was a big issue because the unions had not had contracts that were negotiated for how many years? Because the previous administration did. I did not have a village administrator. I did not have a village manager. So I sat across the table from the unions and from their lawyers along with our lawyers. Okay. Negotiated back and forth, and then we finally went, we were able to go to the board, and we said, here's what we're going to negotiate. Okay? So the first contract as mayor, I negotiated with the unions and with the lawyers. Okay? Now that we have a village administrator, I've stepped back, and the village administrator stepped in that place, in that spot. The village administrator attends all the negotiations with village attorneys, along with the union's attorneys, along with the union's representation and their union people. Okay? And I like it a little bit better because it kind of like pulls me back a little bit, where before I was the bad guy, and I probably got a bad taste with the union members with me because I'm sitting across the table from them. Okay? So now we've got the village administrator sits across the table. We have, can I give you an example, have been in negotiations with the FOP. Okay? And we agree. We have to start making cuts, or there has to be some different type of negotiated.
Can't sustain it.
We cannot. The union has stood their ground, so we are now going to arbitration. Okay? Go to arbitration, we'll probably go into a mediator. So all we can do as a village is provide everything. We'll provide our budgets. We're very open. The unions have that right. When the unions come in and say, we want to see your budgets, we want to see how much you're spending, we want to see all this, we provide that information. That's where we're at now with our first union. A lot of the unions wait to see what happens with the FOP. So the FOP is always the first union that we negotiate with. And then the other unions follow right behind there. And they usually ask for the same thing. It's been the same thing for years as far as I can remember. Let's talk a little about budgets. How are we doing? What time is it? We got time. Go ahead.
I forgot to mention, although the senior center is rented for Sauk Village seniors for senior events, our rental money goes into the line item to the village, which the senior committee does not use. Parks and Recreation, their rental goes on their line item, and they have the funds to use there. So they can't say that, we're supported or we're getting money from the village. We are not. We are even providing our rental money directly to the village budget. And I also am curious when you mentioned the use of the council chambers there. I know I've heard that for 10 years, Deer Creek Homeowners Association has been meeting there without rent. What happened to, what I am a little confused about is, I thought Deer Creek had their own auditorium or recreation room. What is being used there? Are they not meeting over there, or did they meet over there before? I'm a little curious about that. I know that they have their own playground, which is not part of the village playground. Of course, they don't use our school district either, 168.
I can't tell you too much about Deer Creek. I do know that Deer Creek has been using the village for having their meetings. However, again, we push back and say, we've got large conference rooms. I've got no problem with a village homeowner association. If they want to use one of our conference rooms, I've got no problem with that. It's open. There's plenty of room where you can come in and do a meeting. Again, we've talked about the rotunda is special. Okay, and it should remain special.
It's more expensive to heat in the conference room.
Well, the whole entire building's heated, of course. So, again, I don't know what they have over there at Deer Creek, if they have a meeting room or anything.
A large clubhouse, supposedly.
I don't know about it. So, let's go, yes.
I understand that occasionally we have, where the trustees and mayors get updated on schooling per se. Is there anybody that's up to date on their schooling? Like for when they go in for briefing, certain classes or so?
I think all the new trustees have had the newly elected officials training. I believe they were all given the opportunity. I think
That's what I was wondering if they went to it or not.
Yeah, we make sure all the new trustees had the opportunity. In fact, even anyone who was elected under the last administration, or anyone who was elected under the last election, had the opportunity to attend. Okay. We also have IML that we go to every year. There is a ton of training during that time. The trustees have the opportunity for that. Any additional training, we look to who is it? It used to be Art Johnson. I don't know if Art's still doing it or not, but if there's any specialized training we have through the state, we've got someone who keeps track of that to make sure that, as elected officials, that we follow those, the NIMS rules, right? We do have that. So.
It just looks to me like some of them aren't paying attention when they go for these briefings, apparently. Is it, when we sit here and talk about things that go on and on and on at the board meetings, we're paying for all this, for the attorneys and everything that sit there. And they complain about a $10 increase for a $20 increase in business license that costs us $300 to talk about it. It's like, let's get it done and over with and say yes, no, and we're done.
Yeah, we looked at ways to reduce the cost of attorneys. As you noticed, that they're only attending a couple meetings a month. You pay higher costs, like we had Bert, who is part of Otisson and Stark, Bert Otisson. There would be a certain cost for him to come to the meetings, which is a little bit more. We have Mike McGrath, who's a little bit under him, and if you notice, Matt Byrne, he's a little bit lower, so we're looking at reducing costs there. We try to make sure that we only call the attorneys when we need to. If we need to get some information, we may contact the attorney's secretary and give her a list of items to let them know that, next time, we need to set a meeting with one of the attorneys to go over these items. So it kind of gives them a little bit of heads up, so we're not calling him, giving him all the information, and then turning around, and have to research it, and turn around, have to have another meeting. This kind of like provides all the information. He can do all the research he needs to, or if he knows the answers. Then when we sit down and talk, we try to help expedite those meetings. So, when we talk about attorney costs, that's one thing that we're doing. We may even look to dropping down to one meeting a month. If the attorneys do not need to be there, we might look at the agenda items and say, there's no need for you to be there. So, yes.
For what we get done at the meetings we do have, we can go one meeting for committee and one meeting for business, and still get the same amount of nothing done.
Sauk Village has 4 meetings a month, right? And of course, we cut 9 meetings this next year, and I took a lot of flack for that. The city of Chicago Heights, does anyone know how many meetings they have?
I heard it was once a month.
Once a month, and then they have their committees. Their committees, like we have standing committees. Their committee members meet. And I can't remember what days they are. One day is they have one meeting at night a month, and they have on a Saturday. So they're a city. So we have multiple meetings.
We're the only ones that have a meeting once a week.
I know.
Every week, we're the only ones. You go to the other towns and they don't have it. Lansing, Calumet City, they don't have it. I mean,
Save a lot of money.
They save a lot of money that way, yeah. But then here, we're complaining because we don't have this, we don't have that meeting. And we're having more meetings than any other township.
Getting less done.
And getting less done.
Yeah, getting less done, right.
I would think it's my thought away. I was going to ask about that one meeting a month for community, and then one for the regular meeting. Actually, that's a big cost savings, and this would give plenty of time for the trustees to do their homework and have all the material they want, because it gives them plenty of time to study instead of every single week and they don't have enough time.
We always joke about, when you're in school, you do your homework before you come to school, right, before you come to class.
It just always means that they're being
The teacher doesn't go over your homework in class.
That's right.
Because
It's
then nothing
like being
happens, right?
tutored in the board meeting.
I think Sharon, you had with it.
I basically was gonna say the same thing. If you reduce the number of meetings, then they have more time to read their packet and do their research and come back with, maybe do some thinking and come back with some viable solutions.
It's an excuse too.
One thing,
Takes everyone stressed.
yeah, one thing I don't think noticed too when it comes to special meetings, we made it where special meetings are on village board meeting nights. You notice in the past, there was always a meeting, and then there was a special meeting, and you'd end up having 2 or 3 meetings a week, right? Trustees were getting paid for every single meeting. Okay? That's why now we try to make sure if there has to be a special meeting, it's held on a Tuesday during either a committee meeting or a regular board meeting prior, because the trustees are going to get paid for one meeting for that night. So that's another reason that we look at, is there ways we can consolidate, is there ways that we can, again, look at costs.
Getting back to those taxes, I've also noticed that the comments that are made about taxes are comparing the 200 homes that pay the highest taxes. They're not looking at what the other 2,500 homes are paying. But when you look at those high taxes in those high areas, you also have 3,000 square foot homes, 5 bedrooms, compared to 900 square feet in the rest of the village.
I know that someone said me something the other day about someone attacking me about me paying taxes. I think it's funny because I pay a lot of taxes. I live in, I'm in Brick, I live in a family home, right? It's a family home. And, I don't take advantage of tax exemption breaks. I pay the full amount of taxes on our house. And we make our payments every month. And some of these people that are complaining in some of these other 200 homes are probably paying more taxes than they are. So, it's very easy for me to say, okay, I live in a family home, I need, is on that house, I can go ahead and take those tax exemptions. But I'll be honest with you, as mayor, I'll continue paying those higher tax fees. If the residents ever vote me out for being mayor, we're going to start paying those tax breaks. I have no problem paying a little extra right now because I'm the mayor. So I look at whatever I do extra for the residents. I pay a little extra taxes without paying those tax breaks on my house. I'm paying more taxes than you. All right. So when anyone says, it goes back to people saying, "Oh, the mayor doesn't get village stickers." Yeah, the mayor gets village stickers, but I get quite a few village stickers, and I paid for them. Word got out that people were saying the mayor doesn't pay a water bill. Believe me, I pay a water bill, and I probably pay more than anyone in here because I make sure my 10 kids take baths every day. Well, I got 7 of them at home.
You're welcome.
I make sure they take baths every day, and there's multiple loads of laundry to have. All right, so it's lies. You can't listen to that stuff when they say the mayor doesn't take real estate taxes. They're lying. Okay, I live in a house. I pay the mortgage. I pay the taxes. Okay, they're liars. So anyone that says that, they're liars. Okay, again, I love how people want to call me a liar. People accuse you of what they're guilty of.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and I always tell people, prove it. Prove it. If someone's living in a house and not paying the real estate taxes, prove it. Show me that there's no taxes paid on that house. Guess what? You're going to find out I'm paying a lot of taxes a year on that house. All right? Someone says the mayor's not paying for village stickers. Prove it. Okay? Come down here and show me, okay, he has village sticker number 1. Show me it wasn't paid.
How'd you get one?
Remember that, I'm number one.
They don't have to prove it because they're trying to cast guilt by accusation, and they just spread the word with people who don't bother to check it out.
I can tell you right now, I pay over and above, and of course my wife helps me. I don't do it because I'm the one out there working, she's the one out there taking care of everything for me. But if you quote my water bill right now, I think we have a credit, right? We have a low credit, because we pay I get paid twice a month. She takes a certain percentage and we pay it twice a month, she pays the village. So we usually run a credit on our water bill because the money's coming in, okay? And it makes it easier for us, rather than just paying one water bill every other month. She makes 4 payments, maybe there's 4 payments over 2 months, okay? So, you know, just kind of, you know, again, I always tell people, if you want to know the truth, just come ask, okay? It's very easy to go off and make accusations against people. Again, if you don't know the answers, you know, sometimes people believe that garbage.
It's easy to use Facebook as a liar sheet.
I've kind of gotten away from Facebook in a way. And here's my time on Facebook. You can see we have a little time. Here's my time on Facebook. In the morning, I get up, I look at events, and I wish people happy birthday. Right? Then I might see if there's anything that needs to be posted on the mayor's page, and I try to get that posted. And usually at lunchtime, I go to my blog, right? And I put out this day in history. I put out any events that are coming up. I try to make sure that I get to the reports from department heads and things like that. I usually put out one a day, okay? That comes right from my blog. Okay? I don't even have to touch Facebook. Okay? It goes in my blog, I post it. There's a little link down at the bottom. I put it on my Google Plus, and I put it on Facebook. That's my time, right? People send me stuff all the time. I'll be honest with you. I don't really pay attention to it because I've got too much other stuff to do. Now, I put up there a few weeks ago a post or a cover from Abraham Lincoln, I think it was. Abraham Lincoln? Help me out, Chuck. It said if I...
Something along the lines of, if I spent all my time answering their questions, nothing would get done.
Yeah, this store would be closed.
Right, right.
Right? That's from Abraham Lincoln. So, people ask, why don't you respond? I don't respond. Because, number one, people want you to respond. Number two, it feeds into their drama. All right? We got enough drama. We don't need it. So, let's talk real quick. We got a little bit of time. Let's talk about budgets. Here's what's happening with current budgets. Budgets every year are presented by the mayor to the village board. Okay? It's no different when you get to the state, when you get to the governor, or when you get to the federal level, right? The budget comes down from the president of the United States, or the budget comes from the governor. We get down to municipal level, your budget comes from the village mayor. Currently, right now, I've got the village finance director. He's pulling all the data from the third quarter, which ended at the end of January. And we're looking at projecting where we're going to be at the end of the fourth quarter. Okay? It takes a little bit of time. But at the same time, we've got last year's budget, where the department heads are sending in their proposed information that they need for this year's budget to the finance director. Finance director's gathering all this information, taking everything he's projecting, taking what the department heads are giving him, taking last year's budget, putting it all down into a proposed budget. Okay. Once he gathers all that information, it comes to me. I look at the proposed budget, and just like any other, if you know, the mayor is the president of the organization, the CEO, right? If you work out in the corporate world, you know, everyone knows the CEO has got a red pen, right? I go through it line item by line item and put my red pen to it. Okay? Then I sit down with department heads. If there's no changes to their portion, I won't really sit down with them unless I need to, or unless they've requested to come meet with me. If I've made changes to the department heads' portions of the budget, I will call them in the office, we'll go over it, and say, you know what, this is too much money. Why are you spending this amount? We'll go through everything that we talked about. What can you have cut here? I work in the corporate world. Here's what happens to us every year when the budget comes out, right? We put the budget out, we present it, the CEO reviews it, and the board of directors review it, and they come back and say, you know what, it's a nice budget, take a 20% cut. That's what they tell us. That's the corporate world, okay? So, you know, my job is, rather than going back to the departments and say, nice budget, make a 20% cut, I try to work with them. I try to get an understanding on why are you doing this, why are you requesting this, okay? What ends up happening now is that everyone knows we have a finance committee, right? Finance committee is Trustee Williams and Trustee Myers. This year's gonna be a little different. Now, when I get the finished proposed budget, which we're hoping to have it sometime around, I think I said, what, around March timeframe, the end of March? That's when we're hoping to have everything, okay? I will present it to the finance committee. Those two trustees will review it and probably put their red pens to it, right? Or come back and say, Mayor, we gotta have more here. You know, or hopefully, you know, I keep my fingers crossed and they'll come back and say, hey, it's a good budget, Mayor. I can always hope, right? Then what ends up happening is we take that proposed budget, it comes back from the finance department. If I have to make any changes, I'll go back to the department heads, we'll make some changes, we'll find out what we can do. Then we will present it to the village board, okay? The village board will have special call meetings, which we call budget hearings, okay? Where they'll review it. We'll pick a day, usually we pick a Saturday, or sometimes we pick a couple of nights throughout the week to review them. Department heads come before the board, they review it. That's the department head's last time they get to give their wish list. You know, the department head gets up there and says, you know, and there's no secrets, I know what's going to happen. You know, we have a good working relationship with our department heads. Okay? They're going to say, Mayor, I really want this. And my comment to them is going to be, if you really want it, you get your last shot before the board. But as of right now, I am not presenting it. So that's why a lot of times if you come to those budget hearings, you hear the department head gets up there and say, you know, this is good, but you know, I need this and this and this and this. And then the trustees will look at me and say, well, how are we going to do it? That's where I look back at the trustees and say, I don't know. How are we going to do it? I've already presented what I think we can do and I feel comfortable with. Now, if you want to make changes, where are we going to cut? Okay? Because remember, we do a budget based off what we project is going to come in. That's how you do a budget. You project, we're going to get a certain amount of money. Here's where the money's going to be spent among departments. You know, your general fund gets so much, your water fund gets so much, your fire fund gets so much. You know, it's spelled right down through there where it's at. Fire fund's easy because the fire fund we already know what's coming in. That's already projected. So they have said, so fire fund usually gets over $500,000 a year because that's coming in through tax revenue. They already know what they're getting. So the fire chief is usually pretty easy to sit down with. He may come back and say, I want this, and I say, well, you already got this much coming in. What do you want to cut? You know, we get to put it back on the departments. We let them make the decision. So, yes.
Do you take like 3% or 2% for like a little emergency fund is the case, or you're just guessing the whole thing?
A lot of it's projected. And Mohan has got formulas that he uses. He gets formulas that come down from what we call IML, which is the Illinois Municipal League. And he also works with Southborough mayors and managers. They've got a lot of resources, and they provide and say, you know, we project that your community is only going to get this much money this year, based off of your levies and things like that. So he's allowed to take those formulas and those projections and put it into the budget. So when like if you were to get a copy of the budget, it's this great big humongous Excel form, right? That has all these formulas in it. So you get a hard copy. You don't see those formulas. You get a hard copy with a bunch of numbers on it, right? But if you're going to get the electronic version, you put a number in here, and all these numbers over here change. So it's a financial thing.
Most people wouldn't understand.
I don't understand. Yes.
You know, I don't know how many, there are so many people that thinks just because we have a budget, which is projected, that that's the amount of money their department gets.
No.
If the money doesn't come in, they're not going to get it.
Correct. Yep. You make a good point, because a lot of people say, Mayor, you budgeted $200,000 last year for this. Where's that $200,000? Well, we never received the $200,000, so we didn't spend the $200,000. That's what's important to remember.
Right.
On a budget is what we project's going to come in. We only spend what actually comes in. That's what's important. If you don't get it, just like we projected for this project right here, $235,000. Okay? It was granted to us, IADNR. Okay? The governor, former governor, came and said, congratulations. The new governor came in office and said, no, we're not paying that check, we pulled that check back, we're not paying you. Okay, well, it was budgeted $235,000 for brand new walking paths, for a brand new soccer field, updated baseball fields, new fencing, new batting cages, new signage, okay, new parking lots, new walking paths, ADA accessible. It was all budgeted, but we didn't get the money. Okay, this project is still in the books, but it will not happen until we receive that money. We will continue to work with the IDNR. We will continue to work with the governor's office. We'll continue to work with Springfield, our state representatives, and say, we still want this. Okay? Because we've already got, this is phase 1. We've already got plans for phase 2. But we're not even going to put phase 2 out there until we get the monies for phase 1 and get this up and going. So, can I give you, yes, we budgeted $235,000 for this. But number 1, it's not done. And number 2, we haven't received the money. So, Chuck.
With everything that's happened, or everything that's not happening in Springfield, how is that going to affect our upcoming budgets in our town?
It's going to be rough. I was in meetings last week. Let me check the time right now. I was in a meeting last week talking about the budgets. I don't know if everyone knows that the President of the United States approached Congress here in Illinois last week, right? He was in Springfield trying to get the lawmakers to work together. I think it sounded good the first couple of days, and I think he had it, they went back to their own corners. There's a lot of talk, what I'm being told out of Springfield is you're going to see a lot of bills that are going to be presented that's going to affect municipalities, but don't let it get to you right now. Okay, they're telling us, don't let it affect you right now. Because remember, it has to pass both the House and the Senate. It has to pass the governor's desk. Okay, we know as of right now nothing's happening. Okay, we were told that there would probably be a budget passed by March. We're told now that we're doing good, that there's a budget passed by November. And there's still no one confident that will be passed by November. If you think about how far we're into this budget year already with the budget, we're talking about going into a second budget year with the budget.
When the money runs dry, then they'll do something.
Well, we'll try to make sure it doesn't run dry. They'll just continue passing.
Yeah, little things.
Yeah, little things.
A few dollars here, a few dollars there.
The monies that you mentioned Tuesday night that we got, that is secured, right? That
Yes.
was announced and it's done.
Yep.
It's here.
Yep, let's see here. I got that right here in front of me.
Because that was a big thing and it was accepted by a lot of people. But there were some that didn't seem to happen.
Right. Well, I tell you what, the IEP repayment loan, this is a lot of work. This took a lot of time. We went back and forth. We finally got the factual numbers. Everyone remembers the IEP loan was approximately 1.8 billion, right? I'm sorry, 4.8 million. It was $4,797,219.23, right? We rounded off to 4.8 million. We received a principal forgiveness of $650,000. We received it already. And then we just received, it was awarded a grant, 70% forgiveness on the 4.8 million. So that grant was $3,354,767.04. It brought our new net loan payable amount to the IEPA for $828,114.09. Okay. Now, we talk about making payments. Our payment was going to be $135,000. Okay. One thing I didn't realize, and again, sometimes I say stuff, I tell her, don't quote me on that, so I go back and look. Payment back on that loan was over 20 years. 39 payments. That was $135,000 payment. Okay. So it was really more than one payment a year, $135,000. Okay. Our new payment comes in March. We got to make the first payment. First payment is only $26,000, but after that, every payment is the same. After that, it's $29,413.64.
For 20 years.
For 20 years. So 39 payments. I think it's 39 payments. Yes.
We hadn't started paying on that loan, correct? Is that right?
No, because we were going back.
So
and
this is
forth.
not extra money we're gonna have. This is just less money we're gonna start paying.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So again, we were going back and forth with the IEPA. We were told, hey, this amount was paid off. Governor Quinn approved everything. And the IEPA was working very well with us, you know, and I tell people, there's a lot of people to thank, and I know I miss people there, and I mean, we've got the individuals at the IEPA that worked with Mohan, okay, and I cannot remember her name right now, I should. She worked back and forth with Mohan. You know, while I was working with our state representatives, and saying, you know what, this payment is going to kill Sauk Village. I need your help. So when you got your state representative, O.G. Sims, State Representative Marcus Evans, State Representative Thaddeus Jones, also talking to our state senators, Donnie Trotter and Napoleon Harris, okay, meeting with them. I don't know how many times we met with them this last year. Every time I saw them, it was like, hey, have you guys heard anything yet? You know, so, and I kept on hearing, just hold on, don't make a payment yet. Just hold on, we're working on it, we're talking to you for you, okay? There was a lot of people involved, a lot of important people out of Springfield to help Sauk Village on this one. Now, it's some people not happy because the whole entire $4.8 million was not paid off yet. But I tell you what, I can breathe a lot easier knowing that $3,354,000 is paid. No. Will we continue to work to try to get that last $800,000 paid off? Yes, we'll continue to work. But at least we're going to the table, you know, a lot happier than we were when we said we need $4.8 million paid off. So, a lot of people involved, yes.
A couple of questions. When you do the budget, are you going to leave off the $5,000 for Parks and Recs and make them work for their money? Second question, what gives the school district the right to levy taxes when they have $14 million in the bank? Third of all, we pay for the gas that the police cars use. What gives them the right to be taxi cab drivers for certain people? I've heard on the radio they've taken a person to Chicago Heights, to Park Forest, taxi cab them all over the place.
Really?
Yes. Even a university park.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I do not know anything about this taxi cab service that we're doing. I will definitely talk to the chief and find out what's going on. I can't tell you what's happening, but I'll follow up on this one. These schools, I can't speak for the schools and levy taxes, it's a separate taxing body. So but they are a separate taxing body, so I can't speak for them. When it comes to Parks and Recs, we talked a little bit about it in the beginning. It's the committee's responsibilities to have their volunteers, have their fundraisers. Last year, we put $5,000 in Parks and Recs for one reason, and that was to have fireworks. It's because we had a new board that came on. Previous years, the Parks and Recs and their committee members went out there and raised money for fireworks. So I think last year, if you remember right, during the budget hearings, we talked about it was only for that year. Okay, and it's because we had almost half of the board that came on board. Did not have time to go out and realize fundraisers. Okay. So a lot of committees are going to be forced to go out and do their own fundraisers again this year, and making them work. Making them work through their events, fundraisers, volunteers. That's the way Sauk Village has always been.
The next day, I know that at a time, that was how it was done.
Everyone, right? We talked about, I don't know how many times we talked about how Sauk Village is ran by volunteers. How many times we talked about our events are because of the fundraisers and because of volunteers. Sauk Village has always been that way.
And volunteers don't get paid.
Nope. Anyone?
That's right, the senior committee has had volunteers for quite a number of years. All volunteers, including the chair for a number of years, all unpaid. Any expense for training and all that was also borne by the volunteers themselves.
Got a couple minutes left. Anyone else? Got a few minutes, I guess, about 5 minutes or so.
Says, whatever the board voted, one way voted the opposite.
Yeah,
So sit there like they,
just the opposite.
keep saying no, yeah.
All right, last week, we just talked about, I'll take more questions here. Don't forget the chili cook-off, Saturday, March 12th. The doors will open, I think at noon.
11:30.
11:30 doors open, but it's from 12 to 3. They're gonna start serving chili at 1 o'clock. I volunteered to be another judge again this year, so if anyone has the Pepto-Bismol, please be sure. The entertainment, the Morgan family, bluegrass, gospel music, and country. Line dancing, dancing is listening for your pleasure. Line dancing with Flora Hayes. Donation, it's only $3 a bowl all each. All right, and I'll tell you what, they've got some good chili every single year. It's always hard to vote on who has the best chili.
We need volunteers for chili.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to volunteer, and I know that some people are already trying to volunteer my wife. So I've already told her that they want you to cook chili, and that they want her to cook chili. But let's see here.
What day was that, David? I'm sorry.
The 13th Saturday, or 12th.
12th.
Saturday 12th. Let's see here. One thing we've been talking about, IRS scam. Okay? Please let your neighbors know, let the seniors know. You got called?
I got called.
I gave him money, that was a scam.
Yeah. This is major, guys. We've had a couple of seniors come down to Village Hall. We had a senior come to my house, she was in tears. Okay? In fact, she didn't want to leave, so my wife brought her in, and she stayed until I got home from work. But they use scare tactics, they threaten you, they tell you that they want their money now, they want you to use a debit card, they want you to go to a Western Union. They tell you not to talk to anyone. They tell you to stay on the line. Yeah.
I got something for them.
So they tell you to stay on the line, and they scare the seniors. They're focusing on seniors. This is not just happening in Sauk Village. Okay? There is postings everywhere.
She was on the way to go get money when she's
Yeah, she was that scared. She said the police were going to come to arrest her. She was only in her 20s. So just be careful. Don't let me tell you something. I got this information on the mayor's Facebook page. I got the information on the website. We give it to the seniors. I think there may be some more back there on the back table. But remember, the IRS will not ask you for money. They will not ask you to pay stuff to see here. They already know your information. They're not going to ask for your social
Do it by
security
mail.
numbers. They do everything by mail. They're not going to tell you or threaten you with arrest.
That's the first time. They're not the first time.
Who's going to come shoot you?
Does anybody know if they can call in, call people to set up appointments to come and read their meters?
I'm checking that because I just
I got a
see.
call that they wanted to make an appointment to read my meter, and I thought, well, maybe they are
Your
doing
meter's
that.
outside.
My meter's outside, but it's behind the gate.
Okay.
So I said, okay. Well, nobody showed up.
Yeah, remember one thing is don't not let anyone into your house you do not know. Do not give any information to anyone you do not know.
That was the first time that happened to me, that I made the appointment and they didn't show up. So I thought afterwards, maybe that's not a,
I just saw come across, there's a IRS, there's a comment scam, and there's a NICOR scam. Let me see if I can find what those scams are. I don't remember if it's one or not. I try to get the information out of course. Just when I get it.
Last year, that election, they were calling the judges, or something.
Yeah.
I was one that would call on that too, but I went anyway.
A couple of years ago, I had somebody appear at my door on IRS. And of course, I told her I was working in A. Johnson on fraud. And she then told her, you know, and she said, well, you can call the office. And she did leave.
All right.
You have ID?
Well, I didn't even ask her, I just told her I worked for her.
Yeah, look through the front, they'll be, you know, open those doors.
All right, I think we're close to 11 o'clock. Please, take some cupcakes, my kids don't need them. And everyone, happy Valentine's Day. Oh, sorry, trustee.
Did you get a chance, visit the department heads and your trustees, that the Illinois state law requires them to be P.L.A.N certified? That might be one of the reasons that some of our trainings are being held up, because they said if there's trustees and departments that are applying for the grant, they're not then certified.
Wow.
They bypass
No calories.
We have already been warned once that there are several people on our board that not completely have all of them certification. You have to have that through the state, first state, to get any type of grant, especially federal grant.
Thank you.
I gotta hear that.
You just got one
And listen to what Carol also bill the trustee has been
How you doing, young man? Right here.
You were really nice. I like the
Yeah.